Welcome to Goddess Behavior, the podcast where ancient myths meets modern main character energy.
We're your hosts, Steph and Laura.
No textbooks, just great stories, hot takes, and some unhinged ancient audacity.
So pour a drink, fix your crown, and step into your mythic era.
This is Goddess Behavior. Well, it's daytime and we're recording, so that's fun.
Our children are back in school, so
Yes.
we have some time back.
Yes, it's great. I feel like my brain is on today compared to what it's been like, but
truly.
It's good.
Yeah, getting back into the swing of things.
Yeah.
So here we are.
Still hot, but, it's fine.
Yeah.
Don't love that.
Mm-hmm.
You could say it's as hot as a dragon's lair.
Honestly.
Yeah, the fire signs has been very fitting for me in my brain. I'm like, yeah, I feel it.
It's like, so in Florida, right?
Yeah.
It's you step outside and it's like
an oven.
Yeah,
humid.
We're really struggling down here right now. Yeah, it's really hot.
Yeah. So today we're talking about the Garden of the Gods.
Yeah.
So
our
plants.
Not poison. They're not all poison. But
No, they're not all. Just how plants can be seen in a...
They're more than just plants.
Yes, exactly.
So what if we told you one of the most powerful magical objects in history wasn't a wand, a sword, or an enchanted ring? It was a plant. The world's oldest spellbook wasn't written on parchment. It was growing in the forest. For thousands of years, humans have believed that the right leaf could heal you, the wrong berry could kill you, and a single flower could change your fate. Long before we understood chemistry, we understood that nature held power, and we told stories to explain it. Every civilization looked at the plants around them and saw something more than food. They saw medicine, omens, blessings, curses, and sometimes the gods themselves. Today on Goddess Behavior, we're digging into the mythology of herbs, sacred trees, poisonous plants, and the green magic that has rooted itself in cultures around the world.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all know that a lot of our medicine comes from plants, but it's something we've gone so far off of, like, in our day-to-day life that we don't think of it as like a direct correlation, right? That we still use this plant magic, and it's a different form, a way that we're using it. But
well, I think especially like post-COVID, I feel like we've seen a swing to the other way where people are starting to look into alternative,
like holistic ways that things you can grow in your own
garden.
Feel
better. Yeah,
exactly.
Like, I feel like I've taken a crunchy mom turn where I'm like, there's got to be a better way.
There's got to be something else.
Yeah. We've got to find something else.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, you see it in movies sometimes where they like put special salve or leaves or something and they wrap up your arm. So it's not something that we haven't seen, but to actually see people going out and using it in the same way is like really cool and witchy, and I like it.
Yeah, I love it. I think, again, as with the land or the water, I think there's a reason we have the plants here that we do. So it's good to utilize them.
Yeah.
I mean, we touched on this a little in our Appalachian episode.
Yeah.
How plants, like before there were pharmacies, there were forests.
Yeah.
And so they just kind of had to use what was there.
Yeah.
Before doctors, there were healers, or our fun community witch.
Granny witch.
Granny witch.
Yes.
Yeah. So witch
of some kind.
Yeah. There were the healers who learned which roots eased pain, which leaves closed wounds, and which berries should never be eaten. Long before written language preserved that knowledge, it was passed from person to person, usually generationally.
Yeah.
Right? What worked, what to stay away from in the woods. I mean, I think
of Irene. I was just thinking about Irene. Yeah, it was a skill that was needed. Like, you had to be taught from somebody else. This is the right one to use. This is the wrong one to use.
And imagine this trial and error process.
Oh, boy.
Someone ate the wrong berry again.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, God.
Like, I mean, like in a way where like maybe a kid would see a berry on a plant and put it in their mouth because it looks like a berry. And, well,
oops.
Yeah. Wrong berry. I mean, the same world that provided food also had cures, poisons, intoxicants, and mysteries. Think about it. If one plant could stop pain, another could induce visions, another could heal a wound, and another could kill with just a few bites, wouldn't it seem kind of magical?
Yeah, for sure.
I mean,
especially with no explanation as to why, like,
or what it is.
What's happening. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's magic. Yeah, without microscopes or chemistry, there's no obvious explanation as to which one healed and which one was poisonous, right?
Yeah.
The effects were real and the reasons are invisible. So people did what humans have done when faced with something powerful and they can't explain it, they make a story, right? Something we've seen time and again. That's where medicine, mythology, and witchcraft began to intertwine. The earliest herbal knowledge wasn't neatly separated into science or superstition. It was all part of the same worldview, one where nature wasn't just alive, but filled with a hidden power waiting to be understood.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you said, I think there's definitely a lot of trial and error here, but just think about how over generations, how much they learned and how much they could utilize with what they had around them. You
Yeah.
didn't have a choice, I guess. It was their way of surviving.
And I mean, like we saw with Appalachia, is the witches weren't always
Bad.
called that.
Yeah,
Like they
yeah.
didn't have that negative connotation there.
Yeah.
Like they were healers, right? And as we've also seen in several episodes for us now,
Yeah.
is the witchy character usually gets labeled like
Evil or doing something.
or bad or just like.
Meanwhile, they just had knowledge that the others didn't, and knowledge is power, as we know, and
People felt threatened
yes,
by that.
exactly.
Yeah.
All right, so should we get into our examples?
Yeah. So our first one is one that we felt like people would know and have heard of. Because for us, we find this plant around Christmas time.
Yeah.
It dies here because it's hot.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
here we are.
Yeah.
So our first sacred plant is mistletoe.
Yeah.
And it is the plant that changed the fate of a god.
Right. So I think most of us think Christmas when we think of mistletoe.
Yeah.
And it definitely is part of it, but this story behind it is an interesting one. It's a small evergreen plant with clusters of white berries that doesn't grow in the ground like most plants. It grows on the branches of other trees, drawing water and nutrients from its host. So it's actually like a parasite. Fig trees do that too. They like grow into the other tree and like eat the other tree.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Vines, wisteria.
Yeah.
There are lots of
They're more
that,
like intrusive than other plants.
That can get out of hand. Ivy.
Yes, ivy. It almost always seems to kind of appear out of nowhere, suspended between earth and sky, which probably helps explain why so many cultures believed it was magical, because it doesn't grow like other plants, Today, it's associated with Christmas parties and awkward kisses, but in Norse mythology, mistletoe is the reason that one of the most beloved gods dies. So Baldr, the god of light, beauty, and joy, was so beloved that his mother, Frigg, traveled the world asking for every living thing to promise to never harm him. That seems a little helicoptery, but anyway.
Yeah.
Fire, water, stone, iron, animals, disease, everything swore an oath, except mistletoe.
Oh.
Yeah. Mistletoe is very defiant. Couldn't think of the word. Not because it was evil, but because it seemed small and harmless enough that Frigg didn't think it was worth asking. Never underestimate people who are small, right? The trickster Loki discovers this one overlooked exception. He fashions a spear and, in some versions, a dart from mistletoe and convinces Baldr's blind brother Hodor, like from Game of Thrones.
Hold the door.
Hold the door. I hate it. To throw it during a game where the gods are harmlessly testing Baldr's invincibility. It's the only thing that can kill him, and it does.
Wow.
Yeah. So what's cool about this story is that, like, even somebody who's considered, like, invincible isn't. Like, there's always something that
There's
can
always
get to
your
you.
Achilles heel,
Yes.
if you will.
Yes, exactly. And that you're overlooking something small. Like, why did Frigg just say, like, it's not going to do anything. It's just a plant. Big mistake.
Well,
huge.
Yeah. I mean, I think there would be so many things to ask, though. Like, in the grand scheme of things, it's like she just overlooked one little plant.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, no matter how protected we think we are, there are often small details that we overlook. And the tiniest, most ordinary thing can completely change the course of history in this case.
Yeah.
And it's a reminder that in mythology, that power isn't always loud and lightning bolts.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's as quiet, quietly grows on the branch of a tree. But what makes this even funnier is that today we hang it in our doorways hoping that someone will kiss us underneath it. Like, it seems weird, right? From the downfall of a god to holiday romance, it's an interesting rebrand.
Yeah.
There's got to be more to that.
Yeah, I was like, wait.
But why? Is it just because it's common in winter?
So the kissing under the mistletoe tradition came so much later. And it's actually like an inversion of this death myth where, like, it dries, it causes Frigg is obviously really upset by this death.
Sure.
And sheds tears.
Okay.
And the tears become like the plant's berries.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I outline.
So the kissing under the mistletoe seems to have developed like in the 1800s of Britain. Like that's where it kind of came up again. It was like a long-standing association with fertility. So that's where like the romance part of it comes in, like in Europe in general. But it came back into fashion in Victorian England during Christmas celebrations because in winter, it's like a winter greenery, right? So something that stays alive during winter, right?
Yeah, and everything else is brown or bare.
Right. So a popular custom involved a sprig or kissing bough of mistletoe. A man could kiss a woman standing beneath it, and in some versions, he would pluck one of the berries for each kiss. Once the berries were gone, the kissing privileges were over. So by the Victorian era, this had become like a very firm Christmas romantic tradition.
Yeah, I mean, I think it comes from like Dickens, like Charles Dickens.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so, it goes from divine murder weapon to Christmas romance.
And I actually think there's a version of the Norse myth here where it actually ends up being the thing that brings him back.
Yeah, I heard something about that too. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, it's like that the ending isn't actually like his ending, that his death involves mistletoe, but it also is the thing that can bring him back.
Okay.
I don't know how. So like it ends up bringing him back from the dead. And then along with this version, Frigg is just like so overjoyed that she declares mistletoe a symbol of love and vows to kiss anyone who passes beneath it.
Okay.
So again, that's a newer version.
Yeah.
I say newer, trying to think of.
Like a reinterpretation of the original myth.
Yeah.
So the laurel tree.
The tree that becomes a symbol of victory. So from one sacred plant to another, let's talk about the laurel, a tree with glossy, dark green leaves that's native to the Mediterranean. If it looks familiar, that's because its leaves are probably sitting in your spice cabinet right now. Bay leaves, the one we toss into soups and stews for flavor.
Delish.
Or if you're from down here, a low country boil.
Yes.
It's amazing to think that something so ordinary today was once one of the most sacred plants in the ancient world. If you've ever heard the phrase, resting on your laurels, or seen ancient images of poets and emperors wearing leafy crowns, you're looking at one of the most enduring symbols from Greek mythology. The laurel crown.
The laurel crown, yeah. I mean, my brain immediately went, oh, Olympics.
Yeah. It all begins with Apollo and Daphne. After boasting about his skill with a bow, Apollo insults Eros, the god of love. In retaliation, Eros shoots Apollo with a golden arrow that makes him fall hopelessly in love with the nymph Daphne, while Daphne is struck with a lead arrow that causes her to reject love entirely. Apollo pursues her relentlessly, and as Daphne realizes she can't escape, she calls out to her father, the river god Peneus, to save her. He does, but not in the way she expects. She transforms into a laurel tree.
So if you've watched the movie Hercules, they do reference this in the movie. So there's a part of the movie where Phil is like chasing after the nymphs at the river.
Okay, yeah.
And one of them transforms into the tree.
Oh my gosh.
I'll like put a little picture of it in here. But there is an actual part of the movie where they reference it, and we just watched it recently with Bronson, and I was like, oh my God, like it's Daphne. Obviously, it's not Apollo, but there are so many nods in that movie, which we could do a whole episode on.
They're just like trying to fit. They like put that little piece in.
Yeah,
too.
it's like
cool.
It's for the nerds out there. Clearly,
it's one of mythology's most famous transformations. Daphne escapes Apollo, but at the cost of her human form. Apollo is heartbroken, unable to be with her. He declares the laurel sacred forever. He wears its leaves as a crown and promises that heroes, poets, and champions will do the same. And that's why laurel wreaths become the highest honor in ancient Greece and Rome. Victorious athletes, military leaders, and great thinkers were crowned with the leaves of a tree born from a myth.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about like any Greek statue of an emperor, they all have a laurel crown.
Yeah.
It's pretty like...
And I love that in contrast to like an iron crown.
Yes, it's a very
interesting... And what that
interesting...
says about
the Greeks
and what they value versus say
money.
Yeah.
money.
Precious metals, stones, gems, iron.
They valued the sacredness of it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
Yeah, me too.
And unlike some of these plants, laurel never really disappeared from pop culture. We just stopped noticing it. Every time you see a character depicted wearing a leafy crown to show that they've won something, you're looking at imagery that goes all the way back to the ancient Mediterranean world. And the most obvious modern example is the Olympics. Ancient Olympic victors were actually crowned with olive, not laurel. But laurel wreath imagery became so closely associated with Greek and Roman victory that modern culture tends to blend the two together.
What else is new?
As it goes.
Yes, Greek and Roman, everything seems to get blended together, which is really unfair because they are different. I mean, there's different things going on there.
And typically what we see is the Romans just renaming things.
Yes, correct. Yeah, a lot of it's taken.
Christianity does that a lot too.
Yes, so it's true.
You know,
it's not an uncommon thing for things to be adapted into a newer age, if you will, but don't love it. Yeah.
So basically, leafy crown equals winner. And you see
you win.
Yeah. And you see that imagery throughout fantasy and dystopian series, especially something like The Hunger Games.
Yep. It's the first thing that came to my mind.
Yeah, where victors are elevated, celebrated, dressed up, transformed into symbols of the state. It's not literally Apollo's laurel wreath, but it's the same ancient idea.
Yeah.
Victory doesn't just make you successful, it makes you something worthy of being like publicly anointed, publicly crowned.
Right. Yeah, I think you see it a lot, and especially in a movie that's related to like ancient Greece. Like I think of Gladiator or
Troy.
Yeah, I mean those are probably the more obvious ones, but yeah, I think probably most people have seen an example of it here or there.
And laurel is so embedded in our culture that it's hiding in our language too. We have poet laurelates. The word baccalaureate is historically connected with laurel, and we still tell someone not to rest their laurels when they've become too comfortable with past achievements. So this tree went from Daphne trying to escape Apollo to basically becoming the universal logo for congratulations, you won, which is a pretty wild afterlife for a myth that begins with someone desperately trying to get away.
Escape. Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh, poor Daphne.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, because they wanted to punish Apollo.
Yeah, exactly.
She gets turned into a laurel tree.
Poor Daphne. Yeah, you definitely hear laurel tree talked about. Like it's definitely not gone. And it's like especially in an academic setting. But maybe that's also just because it's based off of so much from ancient Greece, or
there are like lots of ways that this still translates into academic success.
Just Latin
for us
too. Yeah, all of it. Oh, next we're going to go to the apple tree, which I think, again, is another one that a lot of people would associate with storytelling. The fruit of immortality, temptation, and the underworld.
Yeah, so
it encompasses a lot of things.
It's an interesting one because it definitely is plant. I mean, it's grown.
It's grown on the plants.
Yeah. But like nutrients becoming or like something that you would usually eat, a food. So your nutrients becoming a poison or a source, like a different something else.
Something hidden. Yeah. Apple trees are a small to medium-sized tree with fragrant white and pink blossoms in the spring and eventually become the fruit we know so well. They're beautiful, productive, and can live for decades, returning year after year for a new harvest. It's a tree that naturally came to symbolize abundance, renewal, and the cycle of life. Makes sense. What's fascinating is that apples show up in really everywhere. In Norse mythology, the goddess Indun guards the magical apples that keep the gods young and prevent them from aging. When she's kidnapped by who? Do you remember? Scotty's dad.
Oh my gosh.
And it all comes full circle, guys.
Yay.
And the apples disappear. The gods begin to grow old almost immediately. So in Norse mythology, they represent this immortality because they go through cycles over and over again.
And they keep coming back.
They would live a long time in the grand scheme of things compared to like other things
you don't
in the
have
natural
to
world.
Like replant an apple tree every year.
Right.
It goes through its
goes
cycle.
on its own.
Yeah.
In Celtic mythology, apples are deeply connected to the other world. The legendary island of Avalon literally means the island of apples.
Yeah.
Okay. A place of healing, abundance, and eternal life. Apples often appear as invitations into realms beyond the ordinary world.
Yeah.
So in Greek mythology, apples are everywhere. There's the golden apple of discord that sparks the events that lead to the Trojan War. The golden apples of the Hesperides that grant immortality. So again, similar idea there. And Atalanta's race, where 3 golden apples change her destiny. Again, with the golden apples. Why are they golden? Golden like yellow or golden like shiny gold?
I think because it's something that either is preserved to like keep safe, right? Like it either...
Or is it to show that they're magical? Do you know what I'm saying?
I think it might be something where it's like,
they're different than a regular.
It's not a regular apple.
Yeah. Yeah. So kind of like in Snow White, where it's like you can see it's poisoned. It's like
it
a
looks
golden apple,
visibly
meaning
different.
It's coated to show that it's different than a regular apple.
Yeah.
And while it's never actually identified as an apple in biblical texts, Western art and folklore eventually have turned the forbidden fruit of the Garden of Eden into one that links it to apples with temptation and the pursuit of knowledge. I think it could easily be a different fruit, but anyway.
Yeah, I mean...
It is an apple. Like, that is what people think of, though.
Yeah, I mean, I think either way, how that should be viewed is like it's just an apple that either guards or grants your like immortality moving forward.
Right.
So it's easy.
It changes your fate.
To put it as an apple there because it changed. In that story, it changes sort of the fate of humanity.
Yeah, true. Yeah. If we're talking about apples in modern storytelling, there's one that everybody would know. Yeah, Snow White, and the evil queen disguises herself and says, apple?
Yeah, so the evil queen turns into this like old haggard woman.
Right.
And she has this poisoned apple. And the apple that would usually be like nourishment or like sustainment.
Yeah.
Gets turned into something that
like a candied
would
apple,
kill her.
Which looks, and it does look yummy. Yeah. So this symbolism that apples create carries through centuries. Once again, the apple is a choice. Snow White takes a bite and everything changes. And Disney made that image iconic. The bright red apple held out by the disguised queen has become visual shorthand for temptation, hiding danger.
Yeah.
And apples, and if you want to talk about Snow White, you can talk about
Once Upon a Time.
Yeah. And like we said, that kind of deliberately pulls from Snow White.
And she has a bowl of apples on her
I know,
desk,
it's so good how it tricks you into there. Yeah.
Don't eat her apples. I don't know. I wouldn't trust it.
And it's definitely like part of her identity on the show, even before she knows who she is.
Yeah. Yeah. And she has an apple tree in her backyard.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot there.
And then you can't bring up apples without our famous book cover apple, Twilight.
Yes, Twilight.
Stephanie Myers explained that it represents this forbidden fruit. So Bella and Edward's love, you know, being a temptation, forbidden love situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you have the ancient mythology, biblical traditions, Snow White, Once Upon a Time, Twilight, all returning to the same idea. An apple is placed in front of you, and you know taking it might change everything, but you reach for it anyway.
Yeah, it's like the temptation of anything. I mean, if you picture like gold, right? Like if the apple was literally golden and not food.
It's more enticing than just a regular apple.
Right.
Yeah. No, it is interesting how people seem to always go for these unknown things. So it seems a little risky, but at the same time, it is familiar.
Signs.
Yeah, true. It's familiar, but also intriguing enough to move.
To make them want to take it anyway.
Yeah. It's an interesting thing.
I mean, it's easy for us to say if an old woman showed up at our door holding out an apple that we'd be like, yeah, no. Like, I have a hard enough time trusting like an Uber Eats driver. Like, how do I know you didn't poison my food?
Yeah, true.
Or spit in it
or something
anything.
Gross. Yeah, something weird.
Like,
People are weird,
you.
okay?
Yeah, I don't trust you.
Yeah.
But that's me. That's my Virgo brain.
Yes.
But like,
my Gemini brain also is like, what happened here?
Yeah.
There's too many scenarios.
Right. So my brain doesn't go for that.
No, but I can see how other people would.
But you can see how a golden fruit or the promise of living forever or the
There's
something changing your fate
there.
is tempting.
Yeah, definitely. So,
lore.
Yes. Poison lore. While some plants are considered sacred, we also decided that we can't talk about plants without talking about ones that are poisonous.
Yeah. I mean, we love this because I think it's the flipped. We want to give both sides of the narrative here is that.
So while they can be
achievement
sacred and
or,
represent
transformative.
Bigger things.
They can also kill you.
Yes.
So pay attention.
Yep.
Yeah, nature has another side. And honestly, this is where things get a little darker. The same forest that gave us medicine also gives us poison.
Mhm.
The same knowledge that could save a life could just as easily end one. Don't make your local witch mad.
Yes.
Is what this is. And for most of human history, there wasn't a clear line between a remedy and a toxin.
Mm.
Often the difference was simply the dose, and the person gathering herbs wasn't just a healer. They also had to know exactly which plants to avoid.
Right.
That made poisonous plants feel almost supernatural. How could something so beautiful be so deadly? How could one leaf cure you while another, growing just a few feet away, kill you?
Yeah, it's an interesting thought of like the dosage, right? It's still the same now. If
Yeah.
you're taking things improperly or not heeding warning,
Yeah. You overdose.
can-
I mean,
exactly. You cause
common medicines that you can buy in a store are just as dangerous
Correct.
if not taken properly.
But what's interesting about the plants is that they're not like a pill you see and is unnatural. What's
right,
going to happen there, right?
And it's been made.
Correct. Whereas a plant, it's like you could very easily make a mistake doing it. So it seems a lot more insidious in a way.
Yeah. I mean, I like to think of like Easter lilies as an example for this. They're beautiful to have in your home. But if you have a pet, you know that
They're not
that
good.
they're actually very, very dangerous
Yes.
for them and will kill them.
Yeah.
So it's pretty to look at.
Yes.
But
Don't let them eat them.
Don't need to eat
Yes.
them. Yeah.
Yeah, those questions inspire some of the oldest and most fascinating stories in mythology and folklore. Poisonous plants became the tools of witches, assassins, tricksters, and even the gods themselves. They represent hidden danger, the reminder that appearances can be deceiving, and that power often comes in the most unassuming forms, just like mistletoe.
Yeah.
In the first half of this episode, we were talking about life-giving magical plants, right? And in this part, we show their darker reputation.
Yeah.
So the beautiful lady with a deadly secret, Belladonna.
Or deadly nightshade.
Yes. Again, I think this is one that people maybe have heard of
or at least like as nightshade.
Nightshade. Yeah, in one form or another, right? So belladonna is a perennial plant. Perennial means you plant it seasonally, yeah. Thank you, Earth sign. With dull purple bell-shaped flowers and glossy black berries that look almost like oversized blueberries.
Yep.
It's striking, elegant, and every part of it is highly poisonous. Its Italian name, Belladonna, literally means beautiful lady.
Yeah.
They are very pretty, I will say.
Tempting.
Oh, I will have a poison garden, I've decided. Just have to have it like on one of those raised planters so nobody can touch it.
Right.
That name comes from one of the most famous historical uses. During the Renaissance, some women placed a tiny amount of belladonna extract into their eyes because it dilated their pupils. So again, the dosage is important here, right? Large, dark pupils were considered beautiful and seductive, even though the practice could blur your vision and with repeated use have permanent eye damage.
Yeah.
So it was a plant that people were literally risking their eyesight over to use as like a makeup, like for beauty. Yeah, vanity.
Oh my gosh.
It's like there's so many instances where you see that happen in history, but I've never heard that one until we did this.
Yeah, not putting it in your eyes.
In your eyeballs.
Yeah.
Also, like dilated pupils are creepy.
It freaks me out a little bit. Yeah.
Don't like that.
I don't like seeing the black of your eye be so big.
So
it's
large.
Like, wait, why?
Why? Truly.
What are you on?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like that's what it makes me think of. But belladonna has another reputation. In small, careful, measured doses, again, very specific here, it can be used medicinally to relieve pain and muscle spasms. In large amounts, it caused hallucinations, confusion, paralysis, and could even be fatal.
Better be nice to your healer.
Yeah, truly. That combination made it one of the plants most closely associated with witches throughout European folklore. It found its way into stories about flying ointments, enchanted brews, and mysterious potions, and women who possessed dangerous knowledge of the natural world. It all comes back around to women knowing things that men don't, and they don't like it.
Yeah. Again, it's like when the woman could either kill you or save you, you should probably
be nice
pretty
to
nice.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so again, we see this pattern where the line between healer and witch is really thin, right? Belladonna represents one of mythology's oldest lessons. Power is rarely good or evil on its own. The same plant could ease your suffering and create the illusion of beauty, alter the mind, or take a life. It means dependent. No, its meaning depended entirely on how you were using it or who you was using it and why. That's why Belladonna became such a powerful symbol of enchantment, seduction, and hidden danger. Sometimes the most beautiful things are the ones that demand the greatest caution.
Yeah, and I mean, I think about like how the poisonous reptiles are always
It's
the
the same.
brightly colored
Really
ones,
brightly
right? They're
colored,
the ones
right.
that are like, "Ooh, you're bright blue. That's cool." No,
Nope.
don't touch that.
Exactly. One of the most recognizable examples is in The Nightmare Before Christmas. Sally repeatedly uses deadly nightshade, which we remember is Belladonna,
Yep.
to poison Dr. Finkelstein
So
she can escape. Yeah. She literally keeps jars of it labeled deadly nightshade on her shelf, which is it's like a very casual.
It's like,
yeah,
just
it's very
casual
strange,
nightshade.
right? Especially now that we learned about the plant. Like, just to casually have sitting on your shelf seems very strange.
Yep.
But that's also why I like it.
Yeah.
She just had it hanging around. We like
Just in
Sally.
case.
She
For
knows.
just in-
Yeah. She essentially was doing what fictional prisoners have done for centuries, taking an ordinary looking plant and using knowledge that the person around her doesn't have.
Yeah.
So she uses it to her advantage.
If other people are unaware of what it can do, then
Doesn't matter, right?
She doesn't have to hide it.
Exactly.
So our next one is one that you've Harry Potter fans, at least,
Yes.
have heard of, the mandrake. So if there's one plant that's practically synonymous with magic, it's the mandrake. Mandrakes are low-growing Mediterranean plants with broad green leaves, pale purple flowers, and thick, forked roots that often resemble the shape of a tiny human
It's
body.
like a little human.
So again, Harry Potter.
Yes.
You pull it and it sounds like a screaming baby.
Screaming baby. Yeah, exactly. You need your earmuffs on.
Yeah. Or you'll pass out.
Yep.
Yeah. That unusual root is what sparked centuries of legends. People looked at it and thought, that doesn't look like a plant. It looks like a person.
Sure.
And once people made that connection, the mythology practically wrote itself.
I can imagine.
Across Europe and the Middle East, folklore claimed that when a mandrake was pulled from the ground, it let out a blood-curdling scream. Anyone who heard it would either go mad or die.
Oh, sure.
To avoid that fate, elaborate harvesting rituals developed. Some stories claimed you had to tie the plant to a dog, stand at a safe distance, and let the dog pull it from the earth instead.
Sure. Poor dog.
Don't sacrifice the dog.
I know.
Or maybe it didn't work on the dog. Maybe it was just humans.
Maybe.
Who knows?
Yeah.
It's one of those wonderfully bizarre pieces of folklore that tells you just how serious people took this plant.
Also, how far is a safe distance if it's that loud?
Yeah, I don't know. Or like maybe the further away, the lesser the side effects were, right?
Yeah, true. If you're standing right next to it, it would be not good.
Probably way worse side effects
than if you were on the other side of town.
And honestly, if you dug up a root that looked like a tiny human, you'd probably assume something supernatural was going on too.
Sure.
Because the root resembled the human body, people believed it shared a mysterious connection with human life itself. That's an example of what's called sympathetic magic. The idea that things that resemble each other also share power or influence over one another.
So like a voodoo doll.
Like there's a connection.
Yeah.
Nature's voodoo doll.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
I like it.
Yeah.
The mandrake wasn't just a plant. It became a symbol of life force, transformation, fertility, protection, and the strange space between the natural and supernatural worlds. It's a perfect example of what folklore calls a liminal object, something that exists between categories. It's not something you see every day. It's not ordinary.
Sure.
And it's also not quite magical.
Do we know what they used them for?
I literally was saying, I went,
Like, why are we using them?
Why
if
were
they're
they, why
creeped
did they
out
meet,
by them? You know what I mean?
Why were they still pulling them?
Let's see. So they're used for their medicinal properties. They basically were like an anesthetic or painkiller in the Mediterranean, Middle East area. So it definitely had its purpose, and that's why they were so desperate to get it out of the ground, even if it was
there was a risk involved.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So Harry Potter.
I mean, so we know that Madame Pomfrey harvested the mandrakes to save the students,
right,
who had been petrified.
Yeah. So again, medicinal
by
purposes.
looking into the eye. They looked in the eyes of the basilisk and had been petrified.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm sure that's just one of the ways that you could use it because she was just teaching them all to pull mandrake. So there must have been a lot of different things that you could use it for, right?
Yeah.
But it's cool that she used like something that was from folklore
From real life. Yeah,
to
real
create
folklore
this
stories.
magic. Well, it makes sense because it is tied to witchcraft.
And you could see how healing and magic could be overlapped here, right?
Totally.
Where the plant itself, it's unexpected that it would also heal someone, so it becomes magic, right?
Yeah, super cool. So speaking of more magic here, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
The plant that can keep monsters at bay, Wolfsbane. So Wolfsbane is also known as aconite or monkshood, and it's a striking mountain plant with tall stems covered with deep purple-blue flowers that almost looks like little hoods, like a monk, right?
Yeah.
It's undeniably beautiful, but it's also one of the most poisonous plants. There's a common theme here for sure. Even handling it without care can be dangerous. So just touching it, which explains why Wolfsbane has been surrounded by mythology for centuries. In Greek mythology, one legend says it sprang from the saliva of Cerberus, the three-headed dog of the underworld, when Hercules dragged him to the surface during his final labor. A plant born from the underworld. That's about as mythology as it gets. But as we know, Persephone is from the underworld, and the underworld in Greek mythology is not
It's
the
not
same as what we think of as like hell.
Yeah,
right?
it's not like this dead, barren place.
Right.
Like,
Not-
Persephone's there, so
Yeah.
our goddess of springtime, basically.
Yeah.
And so she is able to cultivate things down there too.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing with the underworld, which we can get into in another episode, is
it
that
has to be its own thing, yeah.
it's more like a reflection of the upper world. It's not just dead
kind of
people. Like
reverse isn't even the right
it's
word.
not. It's just its own world. So it still has a lot of the same properties that like
the above
world
would.
has. Yeah. So I think that's a big thing that you have to keep in mind here. So there are plants there. Like it's not like out of nowhere, and that's why we get these connections between the two.
So one of our favorite liminal goddesses,
Yes.
Hecate, is known to cultivate Wolfsbane.
I'm sure she had a poison garden.
Yeah, she would have to.
100%. Yeah, so throughout Europe, Wolfsbane became associated with witches, magic, and protection against supernatural creatures. Despite its name, people did not believe it repelled wolves, but it did ward off werewolves, vampires, and other things that lurked in the dark.
Whatever you need to make you feel better
Sure.
about all that.
Yep.
I feel like
I can imagine those howling at night in the middle of the woods is spooky.
Yeah.
Dark forest
if you wanted
energy.
to grow some Wolfsbane outside your door to help with that. Sure.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, because I mean, it's pretty good when a poisonous plant can be a protective plant.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's like a really good contradiction, right?
Yeah.
The very thing that can kill you can also protect you and keep something even worse away.
Yeah.
Wolfsbane came to symbolize transformation, protection, and the thin boundary between the human world and the supernatural. It reminds us that danger and safety aren't always opposites. And if you're wondering why it sounds so familiar, modern fantasy loves Wolfsbane. If you've ever watched The Vampire Diaries, you've definitely encountered Wolfsbane.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they use it in a lot of things in the whole series. It's used in spells, potions, and weapons against supernatural creatures, specifically werewolves.
Yeah, and like the hybrids in the show.
As we know, the show did not invent this idea. It was borrowed from centuries of European folklore where Wolfsbane believed to protect people from wolves, werewolves, or any creature that was lurking in the night, right?
Yeah.
It's a great...
The unknown. I mean,
so it's all this inherited knowledge from folklore that's being used to make this modern fantasy.
Yeah.
It's the same in Harry Potter when Snape gives it to Lupin, right? He gives a Wolfsbane potion for Lupin so that he can keep him from transforming under the full moon.
Yeah.
And it allows him to retain his like human mind when he
does transform.
Yeah, exactly.
Which, as you can imagine, transforming into a werewolf is less than ideal when you're a school of children.
True. Yeah, so, it's funny how like it just becomes like the standard, right? You're writing a fantasy with werewolves in it, get the Wolfsbane. The Wolfsbane part.
Gotta have the check.
Right. It's like the vampires with the garlic.
Yeah, I mean, it's like with everything, you can't let it get too powerful. There has to be something that's like keeps them at bay.
Keeps it in check. Yeah. We went from believing that a very real poisonous flower had power over werewolves and supernatural creatures, to giving the same plant to Damon Salvatore and Remus Lupin. different century, but same lore, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Sure.
Okay. Our next plant is Foxglove. Foxglove is one of the most recognizable wildflowers in Europe. With tall spikes covered in delicate bell-shaped flowers that bloom in shades of purple, pink, white, and yellow.
They're so pretty.
They're really pretty.
Yeah.
It's absolute. I mean, yeah, they're really pretty, which is why so many people are surprised to learn it's also
really
highly poisonous. But here's where it gets interesting. It's also the source of one of the most important heart medications in modern medicine.
Yeah.
Long before doctors understood its chemistry, people told stories about it. In British and Irish folklore, foxglove was often called fairy gloves or fairy fingers.
You see a lot of like depictions of like when you see fairy drawings. I'll put
with
an example.
The foxglove, yeah.
With the little foxglove plant, like always.
Mm-hmm.
And and they're like, sometimes they like wear the hats, like as a hat. It's so cute.
It is. It's really cute.
Yeah.
And people believe the flowers belong to the fair folk, who use the blossoms as tiny, hats, gloves.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah. Because of that connection, many people believed it was bad luck to pick the foxglove.
Oh, sure. The fairies are going to get
Don't
pissed.
disturb the fairies.
Yeah.
Leave them alone, as we learned.
Yep. Very fairy behavior.
It is. Foxglove perfectly captures one of the oldest ideas in mythology. Nature is both generous and dangerous.
Yes, we've definitely said that before, you know.
Yeah. I mean, the same plant that can strengthen a failing heart can also stop one if used incorrectly. It's another reminder that the line between medicine and poison has always been incredibly thin.
So foxgloves contain cardiac glycosides, which is a chemical that helps your like heart contract.
Oh,
so if you have a weak
to
heart,
like keep beating,
it would help strengthen it.
Nice.
Yeah. It all, and it helps with fluid retention.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean,
so like if you have like a heart arrhythmia or something like that, that's what you would obviously take a medication now, but it comes from foxglove.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
that
again,
does sound pretty
the
important.
right dose.
I mean, right. And I think that's why stories about foxglove have survived. Foxglove represents wonder, hidden power, and respect for the natural world. It reminds us that beauty isn't always harmless, and that some of nature's greatest gifts demand knowledge, humility, and caution.
Yeah.
Sometimes the most magical plants aren't the ones that grant wishes. They're the ones that teach us to respect the power growing all around us.
Yeah.
And foxglove hasn't disappeared from storytelling either. If you've watched Bridgerton, foxglove gets a particularly memorable moment. In season 2, Colin visits Sir Philip Crane, who's basically a walking encyclopedia of plants, and Philip explains that foxglove can be medicinal, but in the wrong amount, it becomes deadly. Medicine or poison, same plant, different dose. And that's why foxglove works so well in fiction. It's gorgeous enough to belong in a romantic English garden, while quietly containing something powerful enough to affect the human heart. It looks like a fairy tale flower. It behaves like a warning.
It feels very Bridgerton to me.
It does, yeah.
Regency era. Like,
I mean, to me, I picture women of that time period where they weren't really given a lot of choice as to who they have to marry.
Oh, so there's, I mean,
maybe you have a really pretty looking garden.
There's a lot of
that could stop someone's heart if you wanted it.
Yeah, there's
if you wanted
a lot of stories. So like what that is, like all of these like poisonous plants. So like makes you think of like these women who probably didn't have much choice in who they're getting to marry, right? So I had heard on another podcast, Wine and Crime. So you guys like crime podcasts.
That's a good one.
It's very good.
Yeah.
But they talked about aqua tofana. It's a poison that this woman created in 17th century Italy, and she gave it to women to poison their husbands, essentially. And it was untraceable. It was arsenic based, so it's not plant based. So I couldn't use it for the episode. But
but see,
they used it as a way for them to like if they had an abusive husband. She had standards. It was very interesting.
Right.
She was like, okay, what do you just not like him? Because that's not enough reason.
Yeah, what are your grounds? And need reasonings.
Yeah. So it was just interesting how like she sold it as like a beauty product. It's very interesting.
That's women helping women.
Yes,
that's being
that's
on
a girl's girl.
There. She's a girl's girl there. That's
100%.
Your best friend witch.
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
And I mean, I was like finally remembering that. So in Jenny and Georgia, the Netflix show,
I haven't watched it, but
he poisons. I think it's Kenny. She poisons her ex-husband with Wolfsbane. She like grinds. She's like grows it.
There you go.
And she grinds it up and puts it in his protein shake in the morning.
See,
and then he dies.
There you go. It's like in House of Dragon. I just watched the episode last night where the mom poisons him.
Yeah.
I don't know what she uses, so
she
that's
gives him like a spiced wine.
Yeah, but I don't know what she used.
I don't feel good.
But he's with a witch, so I'm sure.
And then the witch
fine.
is like, "Oh, told you."
Yeah.
Jeez, why can't you just listen?
That's as far as I've gotten. I think we have one more episode left.
Okay.
But
I won't say anything else.
Yeah, don't. Now I'm too invested. Yeah. So I think one thing that we've found, to be the case is that these are not actually magical, right? They're magical because they have this medicinal property. Like that's and it's hard to explain unless you have the science behind it.
And for them, there was no real way to measure this per se. So
yeah, it would have been
had to be very
experimental.
Precise. Yeah.
And like we were saying, if you have the wrong dose, it can go very badly. So you can see how very quickly the woman who can fix you is also the woman who could accidentally kill you.
And then have like the
fearful.
whole town turn on them.
100%. Or just be fearful of them in general. Like I can see why like people are like, I don't want to go to the doctor. Because you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But you also don't want to live with being ill. For centuries before hospitals or modern medicine was widely available, the people caring for the communities were often women. They used herbs. I don't know.
That's me too, yeah.
They knew which herbs to use to ease childbirth, relieve pain, reduce fevers, soothe tummy aches, regulate menstrual cycles, and help heal wounds. That knowledge was not learned from a textbook. It was passed from mothers to daughters, neighbors to neighbors, generation after generation. And many of those plants are probably familiar to people listening. So mugwort was associated with dreams and protection in women's health. Yarrow, it was used to help stop bleeding and treat wounds. Sage became the symbol of wisdom and healing. And rosemary was believed to strengthen memory, protect the home, and even ward off evil. Rosemary makes me think of practical magic.
Yeah.
Put it by your garden gate. None of those herbs are inherently supernatural. It's just that they are associated with this knowledge that isn't like accessible to everybody. It's only passed down to who.
Yeah, and
it
would usually be women.
Women specifically, yeah. And as the fear of witchcraft spread through Europe, the same women who delivered babies, mixed herbal remedies, and cared for the sick were also viewed with suspicion.
Yeah. And the line between healer and witch really became dangerously thin.
And understandably to a certain extent. I mean, as we said, it's not measured perfectly, so it could very easily go the wrong way for either side, right?
Yeah.
Where you're not given enough, so you're not fully healed, or you're given too much and you're dead.
And oops.
Yeah. I guess that's what makes it sad, too, because they're not trying to do what one way or another. They just get labeled they're the scapegoat.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot easier to blame, like, the doctor, per se.
People still do that.
Than the disease or whatever, the infliction itself.
Somebody has to be blamed, and usually the inanimate thing, like the disease, is hard to blame because you can't
see it.
No, and you can't take your anger out on it like you can a person, which, again, it's terrible, but it's just the case.
Yeah. If you think poison gardens only exist in fairy tales, they don't. They're real. And honestly, that feels very on brand for humanity. A poison garden is exactly what it sounds like. A garden filled entirely with toxic, poisonous, and sometimes deadly plants. Some were created for scientific study, some for education, and some simply because people have always been fascinated by dangerous beauty. The fascination goes back centuries. Royal courts were filled with rumors of poisoners, especially in Renaissance Europe. Families like the Borgias,
that's the only reason why,
became infamous, whether fairly or unfairly, for stories involving political intrigue and poison. Often Across history, rulers feared that danger wouldn't come on the battlefield, but quietly, in a cup of wine or a shared meal. I mean, we see this in a lot of older set shows, like The Tudors, or I'm trying to think. I watch all of those shows, so I'm like,
so the Borgias is a show.
It is a show,
and
too,
it's like about
yeah.
like the papacy too is like
Yeah.
added in there.
Well, so they
and how corrupt it was.
They
And
had
is.
like wine and food, like food testers.
Correct.
So like before King Henry would eat
Yes.
food, someone had tried all of it.
Yes.
To make sure it wasn't
Not
poisoned,
great.
like out of fear
Yeah.
that he was going to be poisoned.
He seemed to be doing okay. He looked like he was eating fine.
Yeah, obviously. Poison has always been different from other weapons. It's invisible.
Mm-hmm.
You don't always see it coming. That made poisonous plants incredibly powerful, some incredibly powerful symbols in mythology and folklore. They represented betrayal, hidden knowledge, and the idea that appearances can be deceiving. Even aristocratic gardens sometimes included toxic plants, not because people wanted to harm themselves, but because these plants were beautiful, rare, medicinal, or scientifically fascinating. The same gardens that produced healing herbs might also grow plants capable of killing someone if used incorrectly.
So there is in England, in like Northumbria, so like near the Scottish border, where there is a poison garden, like tourist attraction. You can like go there and they have a whole garden full of the toxic plants. And I was like, I won't go there.
Yeah.
The little Victorian ghost child in me is like, let's go. I want to go see it.
Yeah. Poisonous plants remind us that nature isn't divided into good and evil. It's simply powerful. A flower doesn't care whether it's used to heal a patient, poison a king, or inspire a legend. It just grows. It's just there, right?
It's again like the ocean or like the land,
it's
right?
how you harvest it. It's what,
it demands its respect.
Nature. Yeah. I mean, and it's humans. It's our
fault.
Yeah, who get to decide what story we tell about it
and
how it's applied.
Totally.
Yeah.
And in our modern stories today, we still see them, right?
Yeah.
Like we brought up before, practical magic. They are witches, so of course they're using different plants in their spells and remedies and day-to-day life. They're what's it called? Like greenhouse kitchen situation is
so good.
Amazing. So good. And Harry Potter, like we talked about before with the mandrakes, but there's a lot of different plant things going on. But again, they're witches and wizards. So that would be
the gillyweed.
Yeah.
To help. Yeah. So he can breathe underwater, devil's snare.
Totally.
There are a lot of plants.
Or the big tree that has like
the Whomping Willow.
Whomping Willow, yes. I couldn't think of what it's called.
There are lots of nature.
There's a lot of plant things going on there
being
that
utilized in different ways, in ways that humans that we have a harder time with.
For sure.
Yeah. Oh, and I also think of Aelin, how she was like trained to know
the poisons. Sure,
yeah,
as an
like
assassin.
whether it's a smell or like untraceable, right? She had to kind of be
in the
and
test,
that's like a test
in the beginning. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Test.
Yeah, so it comes in handy in a lot of fantasy context, right?
Yeah.
Where whether you're an assassin or a king, like it all comes up in some form or another, right?
Where rulers or like people
of
power were always worried about being
poisoned.
Well,
because it was it was
real
untraceable way of killing somebody. So it could come from anywhere, even inside the house.
Yeah.
I mean, think about Violet uses it to her advantage in Fourth Wing, where she's like, Jack Barlow's going to kill me. I need to figure out a way around this.
Something.
And so she isn't it oranges? Yeah, he's allergic to oranges, and so she like puts orange in his food at breakfast or something. And so she doesn't poison him per se, but she like incapacitates him, so she doesn't have to fight him.
Yeah,
smart.
It's great.
Yeah, it's giving scribe quadrant, even though she's not.
Yeah, but
it's good to have
behavior.
Both. Yes,
it's a balance. Yeah, I mean, we definitely see it a lot in fantasy writing, fantasy worlds.
Yeah.
Whether it's fantasy novels, fairy tales, or modern fiction, we still tell stories about plants the same way our ancestors did. We may understand the science better now, but we're no less captivated by the idea that somewhere in the forest, the right plant might change everything.
It's very easy to see how this plant mythology comes about, because in a time where you don't have the information we do now, it's like you eat this berry, and it's fine. And then you eat this berry and you're not fine. So it very quickly is like, this plant is evil. It's like, it's not that simple in real life, obviously, but like, you know, the plant doesn't have those feelings. Like, it doesn't have malicious intent, but
like, respect it. It's not meant to be eaten. Don't eat it.
Yeah. But then you also have a plant where it like helps you feel better. Yeah. So it's
the knowledge with that is important. It's like knowledge with any of our other elements that we've talked about, right?
Right.
Is to have knowledge of the seas, for example, is important for your survival on the sea.
Right. Yeah, paying attention to these little details gives you the knowledge to navigate these things that are big and, you know,
not
just difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, nature begins to look intelligent because it holds power over two things that humans have always feared, life and death.
Yeah.
So if you have these plants that can hold power over that, that seems very big. Yeah. So as we've seen over and over, when we don't know how to explain something, we tell a story about it. We make up a story.
Yeah.
And
becomes easier to remember that way, easier to pass down.
Totally.
I mean, there's a reason this folklore
Yeah.
and myth.
Yeah, like, I mean,
get passed down in this way.
Right. So like the sacred trees become like religious in a way.
Yeah.
And then you have
with
like
our laurel.
The poisons that become folklore and warnings as to what you should avoid, like the Wolfsbane, keep away from the werewolf, you know, keep the werewolves at bay. But then also like Belladonna to poison somebody who you don't like, or, you know. So mythology has never been about convincing us that plants have supernatural powers, right? It's just reminding us that the natural world has always been extraordinary enough to inspire wonder all on its own. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we all see nature as having a lot of power we can't control, but this is on such a small scale that you think you can control it, kind of like a Frigg situation, right? You think that, oh, it's small and insignificant, but it's not. It has a lot of power on its own. So
it does. And it like a step further there is like, you should respect that.
Totally.
Yeah.
So like we were saying in the beginning, we haven't really left this in the past, right? It's come back around again where people are into cottagecore and gardening and herbal teas and natural remedies for things, right?
Yeah. We've taken a big swing.
Holistic medicine.
Into our holistic remedies for things because we trusted our government with things.
I was going to say we're untrusting of other things. Yeah. I mean, I think when you have all of these things like AI and bigger agencies controlling the things that you put into your body or your kids' bodies, it's hard not to feel like there's a better option sometimes, right?
Yeah, or like just that feel the importance enough to do the research on it.
Correct.
I think that's a big piece of it for me.
Yeah.
Is I very much believe in modern medicine.
Yes. Totally.
I just love I love to read the science and reasoning behind things before I inject them into my body.
100%. And there's definitely like, I think when modern medicine started becoming more of like a mainstream use, right? All of this other stuff just fell away. Yeah. Where there's use for both, right? I think maybe that's where a lot of people have come to now. Yeah. Is that we've gone so far on relying on the modern medicine that sometimes it doesn't you don't need a medication to fix it. You can have a different alternative, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So these stories are important to keep telling because they're relatable. You could still use them even now if you wanted
absolutely.
to. If you wanted to poison your husband. I'm just joking.
In the protein powder.
Yes. Or if you wanted to create a healing salve, you know, all of these things can be used now.
Yeah. Or like, I mean, I have aloe plants outside.
Totally. And that's a great example.
I'm very pale. And I live in Florida. So as one can imagine, I get burned a lot.
Yes.
And the aloe plant is perfect for me.
Yes. Very good.
I can cut it in my backyard.
Yes.
And put it on
I
my
love
skin,
aloe.
It's
great.
Yeah.
You put it in the fridge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think our lives have always depended on plants. And maybe that's why we never stopped telling stories about them.
Yeah. I mean, whether we're consuming them to sustain ourselves.
Right.
Or
for food. Yeah.
Yeah. Or they're for medicinal properties, they're incredibly important.
Yeah.
Just like with water. I mean, it's a necessity.
Yeah.
So
definitely. So if you were to grow a magical, mythological, or poisonous plant, which one would you grow? I'm a foxglove girl.
Yeah, I like, so a foxglove has always called to me. I
think they're
even
so
if
pretty.
I would have a foxglove garden.
Me too. They're
like,
so
it's
pretty.
my fairy garden.
Yes, I love it.
And I love it. Belladonna too.
Yes.
It's interesting to me. Yeah.
What plant immediately gives witchy vibes? To me, Belladonna does.
Yeah.
At least out of the ones we talked about.
So I can't
And
picture
Wolfsbane.
like kind of Renaissance Italy
Yeah.
without going like tarot cards, Belladonna, like sort of just like witchy vibes.
Yeah.
So that's where I go immediately. Yeah,
definitely. Oh, which would you rather have? A plant that could heal you or a plant that could protect you from anything or from something?
I go protection because I think I would rather prevent it from ever happening versus just needing something to heal it when it does.
I feel like I would go the other way. So it's interesting.
Okay,
Yeah. Only because I think you have other ways to protect yourself.
I think it depends on, I mean, it just depends.
It's just different ways of looking at it. But usually we agree. So it's funny when we don't.
Yeah.
What's more interesting to you? The plants that humans made sacred or the ones that we became afraid of? They're both equally interesting to me.
Yeah. I mean, I like the ones we become afraid of because
it's just a plant.
I like,
yeah.
Why? Why are you so afraid of a plant?
But then I also feel the same way, like, why is this plant so important to you? Like, it's a little bit the other way also.
That you've made it something that people fear.
That value.
Yeah.
True.
It's interesting.
Yeah. Oh, so for our listeners, for you guys to answer in the comments, what is a plant that you grew up believing had some kind of magical meaning or superstition attached to it? Whether it's a real thing that more than just you believed or if it's something that you made up on your own.
Yeah. Oh, I immediately go to the dandelions.
Cute,
like blowing and making a wish.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think. I don't know, not one that comes to my head immediately.
Yeah. I just remember it's always one that I have good memories of as a child, like going to pick the dandelions and making my wish and blowing.
Cute,
and then it doesn't come true if you don't get all of them off of the flower. So you have to really try. And then my dad being like, why are there dandelions everywhere?
Sure.
And me clueless that those were like seeds. So more dandelions.
More dandelions. And he's like,
I was happy
are you kidding?
It. Yeah. And my dad's like,
great. Why'd you just do that to my lawn? For sure. Yeah. That's all we got.
Yeah. I think that's it.
Yeah.
For today. Anyways.
Yeah. Answer my question down in the comments.
Yeah. Did you also blow dandelions?
Yes. Or pick daisies.
Yeah. That he loves me. He loves me not.
I think we all did that.
Yeah.
But that's why I was like, I don't know if that's interesting, but sure.
Yeah.
All right. Till next week.
Bye. If you enjoyed this episode, please follow Goddess Behavior and leave a review. It helps other legendary mortals find us.
Questions are always welcome. No oracle required.
Stay bold.
Stay curious.
That's Goddess Behavior.